Launch sequence activated.
It's the Joel Comm Show, featuring internet pioneer, New York Times bestselling author, and international speaker, Joel Comm. Helping you grow your business, live life today, and do good stuff. Here's the man who isn't afraid of flying monkeys, your host, Joel Comm.
And I'm back. Did you miss me? Well, I kind of missed you. I say kind of because I really enjoyed the time away on my little social media sabbatical. I've actually been back a week, and you may have seen me pop in here on Blab. And I'm now actually recording the podcast. The Joel Comm Show happens here on Blab. And anyway, I'm glad to be back. I had a really great break from social media. Many of you already know that I took 18 days away, completely unplugged from all work email, with the exception of, I think, 5 or 6 messages that my VA sent me that really just needed to be dealt with. I set up a separate email box just so those can be forwarded to me, and no social media at all. None. Zip, zilch, zero, nada, donut, bupkis, none. And it was actually really refreshing and very rewarding. I was by myself. I didn't travel with anybody, and I had an opportunity to do what I wanted, when I wanted, where I wanted, why I wanted, without any pressures from the outside world. And I can't believe it. I waited so long to do that, and it's made me realize that I need to do it more often. So if you guys that are here live with me today would go ahead and tell a little bird, just click the little tweet over there, and let's tell the world about the Joel Comm Show, the first one in several weeks. And it's going to be a busy few weeks for me as it is. I've got some exciting things coming up. Tomorrow, I head to San Francisco. I've been invited to be the official social reporter for TED at IBM, which is TED's big event that they do annually in partnership with IBM. It's at the Yerba Bueno Convention Center. It's sold out, and I will be doing live streaming from outside the room. You can't actually stream via Periscope or Meerkat from the room, but there is a live stream link. If you'll look at my Twitter feed, I'm sure you can find it. And I'm going to be joined by Tamara McClary. I'm so excited because she's going to do the official live streaming interviews from TED at IBM. And so we're going to actually be doing a Blab on Thursday during the break. There's 2 sessions of speakers. I think there's 14 speakers. There's 2 sessions, and in between the sessions, we're doing a 30-minute Blab live from TED. So make sure you go to my profile on blab.im/Joel Comm and follow for Thursday's show. I want to say it's at 2:30 Pacific time. I'm not sure whenever it's scheduled. That's when you want to be there. And then on Saturday, I get to go to Blab HQ and finally meet Sean and Furkan and Brittany and the Blab team. And I am so super pumped. Of course, I'll Blab from there. I'll be doing live streaming from there. I'll be taking pictures and sharing all that. It's going to be super happy fun time. And then Saturday night at the Marriott Marquis is the world's first Blab Up. It's a meetup for blabbers, and I think we're at full capacity. Tyler Anderson has put this together. I'm going to be there. Tyson Apostle, the winner of Survivor, is going to be there. Rob Sesternino from Survivor, who does the reality show podcast, is going to be there. Of course, Sean and Furkan and Brittany are going to be there, and it's going to be super fun. You might still be able to get a ticket if you go to comm.us/Blab Up. Somebody go ahead and put that into the chat stream for me. Comm, COMM.us/Blab Up. I asked Tyler to increase the number of tickets available because it's free, and I know some people don't show. So if you can't get a ticket, then message Tyler Anderson if you really want to come and be there. I want to say it's 5 to 8, and I will be doing a live Blab from the Blab Up as well. So there's just a lot going on, a lot of fun. I've got some other speaking engagements ahead of me I'll tell you about another time. But right now, I know that my guest is chomping at the bit, and she's a little bit nervous too. So I appreciate everybody making her feel at home, because she's going to do wonderful. I've known this woman my whole life. In fact, I knew her before I knew that I knew her, because I was a baby. In 1964, when I was born, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, baby, which makes me 51. Yes, I'm old. I don't remember this, but I remember from her telling me from a very young age, she had a passion for travel and a passion for seeing the world. And when I was 2 months old, I had my first vacation with her to Jamaica. I don't remember anything about it, but I'm sure she could tell you a little bit about baby Joel in Jamaica. Since that time, my mother, Sheila Simkin, has been all over the world. And I want you to take a look here. This is her Google map of places that she has been. It doesn't even cover everything. She has been absolutely everywhere, and it's a remarkable thing. She travels the world. She writes about blogging on her website, travelswithsheila.com, and I'm going to ask her to go ahead and grab a seat and come in and join us. Mom, go ahead and click on the open seat there. Click, click, click. There she is. And everybody, please give a warm welcome with lots of props to my mother, Sheila Simkin.
Hi! I love
There she is.
Blabbing.
So here's what's going on, Mom. You probably have two windows open with the Blab on it. So one of the windows, there's probably another window that has Blab open, which is why you're getting the echo.
That's
I'll mute you for a second. Look for a second window that you have Blab open on, and that's why we're getting an echo.
No, I don't.
Uh-oh. We need a little technical support. It's all good. We'll figure it out. Take a look, Mom. Do you have another window that's open that's got Blab open on it?
Let me make sure. Yay! Found it.
You got it? All right. Hi.
Hi.
I know it's a little
exciting. I don't know if you really want me to talk about when you were a baby in Jamaica with diapers and cribs and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, I don't care. It's real. You know, it's what it was. We were all babies at some time, and we needed somebody to care for us. And you had this urge to go, and like, I'm taking the baby with.
That was exactly it. If it meant that I had to take a red eye with two small children and sit in an airport for 5 hours until the next flight took off, I never thought anything wrong with doing it. We just went. That was it. Plopped you down in the sand. Found, would you believe it? In those days, you could get a nanny for $7 a week.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who stayed with you during the daytime while Michael and I built with blocks around a swimming pool. Good days.
I'd like to find somebody to take care of me for $7 a week now.
Oh, please. You can't go out, maybe a McDonald's, a hamburger?
Actually, I just want somebody to come and take care of me, so I don't care what it costs.
Well, I'm not going to do it, so forget it.
I know. I'm on my own. So welcome to the Blab platform. It's a lot of fun. And for those of you who are here, you know that if you'll tell a little bird, click the link over there to the left, then that'll tweet out to all your followers that we're live right now. And I'm going to talk to Mom for a little bit, and then we're going to open it up, and you're going to get to ask her questions because, as my mother, I'm sure that she's got stories to tell about raising me and all that. But what I think is even more interesting than that is the fact that she has been all over the world. I think that you and Steve, Sonny, as we know and love him, travel, about 6 months of the year?
We're trying. I've sort of lost track of exactly how much I'm gone. It's more, well, am I home? Well, it's time to go again because I'm used to not cooking and washing clothes and all the other fun stuff and dealing with aggravation when you come home. One day I keep threatening, I'm going, I'm not coming back. That's it. I'm staying away. That's it. Bye-bye. Love you.
Well, there's
See
been
you
a couple
tomorrow.
times. There's been a couple times that could have happened involuntarily. In particular, as I was telling people about the show that was coming up, one of my favorite stories is the time that you actually got lost in Siberia.
Yes, of course, normal people do not go to Siberia to begin with. Okay, nobody
Right.
goes to Siberia unless they are in a gulag somewhere. And here I pay perfectly good money because I read things and think, wow, Siberia, doesn't that sound like fun?
No.
No, well, our group of hikers, I don't remember, we were 12 to 16 Americans with, I think, Mountain Travel Sobek, set off into Siberia for a 2-week trek, and we were instantly divided into two groups. The Jets, who were faster than a speeding bullet, and the plotters. And I was one of the little plotters. I do not care. So one day, the head leader divided us into two different treks. The Jets were taking off for a long all day, and the plotters were going to just mosey along, go up a hill, and at the top of a hill, there was supposed to be a Russian guide who would then direct us toward our camp for the night. Well, we got up to the top of the hill, and there was no Russian guide. We had nowhere to go, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. We didn't know where to go. And we stood there, and the smart thing for anybody to ever do if they're lost is you don't move, you stay there. But the six of us were not smart, so we thought, all right, we'll just sort of walk along, see if we can find a trail. And for some reason, I had looked at the topographic map the night before, which I usually never do. You know, you're with a guide. He's supposed to know where you're going, right? And I knew we were heading in a certain direction. So we started that way, and a group of Russian hikers came along that fortunately spoke English, and we're heading toward a spot that I knew we were supposed to spend the next night with. So we went along with them along this ridge, and eventually down in the valley, we could see our campsite with the crew, the horses, everybody made our way down. Of course, we're, can I use pissed off? Super pissed off that we got lost in Siberia. When our head American guide showed back up with the group, we were raving, raving fit. My veins were bulging from my forehead. And he went to question the Russians because he was fluent. He came back and he said, Slava, who was the head Russian guide, decided his horse was tired. And he took his horse back to camp to rest. Who was more important, right? The horse.
Did he talk like this? The horse get tired. He need to go
Right,
back
the
to
horse.
sleep.
The horse
to
got
sleep.
tired.
Da, horsey going to lay it down. Go have some hay and a nip.
Other than the fact, too, that they forgot the tents the first night. We only had a few tents, so people had to share. They had minimum amount of food, which this poor little 16-year-old girl had to carry it all because the Russians weren't going to carry any food. So we were short on rations. There weren't enough little tin plates. It was not a happy experience. But
you had a lot of fun. You do a lot of fun things, and I want everybody. Somebody put in the link for me, travelswithsheila.com. It's there in the topic, but also put the hot link in so people can go and bookmark and check it out. You sent me a lot of photos, and rather than you guide it, I'm just going to pick a few of them, and then you can just kind of tell the story about what it is that we're looking at here. What is this one that you took?
The Northern Lights, one of the great experiences in my entire life. Of course, you have to go up there and freeze your, what off. I mean, the amount of layers of clothes that you've got to put on because you don't know whether or not they're going to come out or not. So you have to have your camera ready, a tripod. It has to be set perfectly. You have to be wearing all 9 million different layers of clothing. You have to run out in the snow, stand there. Ooh, Northern Lights. lasts for maybe seconds or it can last for minutes. You go back into wherever you're staying, and this all has to be above the Arctic Circle. I mean, there's no way around it. Then you wait again, and then you go out, and if you're lucky, you see it some more. And by that time, every time you go outside, of course, the below zero cold invigorates you, so you can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? But it just, I mean, to see those lights appear across the sky, it's no wonder that the ancients thought that there were mystical beings up there, or that a gnomon, that the world was going to fall apart or something.
Amazing. Okay, so who's this fella here that you're standing with?
We just got back from Korea last Tuesday night, so I'm not sleeping anyhow, and I'm very energized. We were up on this mountain by a Seoul TV tower, and they have this ceremony every single day where in olden times, their method of communication was to light signal fires on top of different mountains. And the people knew if it was a fire, it meant it was a portent of something. If it was smoke, it was a different kind of a signal. So they were enacting the lighting of the signal fires that day. By the way, Korea is absolutely fabulous. It just does not get enough press to Americans. The only Westerners we ever saw in Korea were members of the United States Armed Forces, because we have a huge, obvious military presence in Korea, South Korea. Let's make that clear. And I'm going to get on my soapbox for just one second. I cannot understand why people are going to North Korea to help support a corrupt government that gets all the money and the people are starving there. Done with my soapbox. There you go.
She's had something to say. So this obviously isn't snow that you're laying on.
That is salt. It is part of one of the great salt lakes. This one was in northern Argentina. We hope next April to hit the Bolivian side of the salt lakes. It's just amazing. And by the way, salt is very sharp. Laying on the mountain of salt hurt. But I saw all these younger people doing it, and I figured, well, if they can lay on a mountain, I can lay on a mountain too.
You can do it too. Okay, we're looking at food, but what kind of food are we looking at here? Where is it?
Really good question. Sonny and I were by ourselves that day, walking through this market that must have had hundreds of food vendors. It's all licensed. It's all clean. I would be really afraid without somebody to tell me what it was to eat it. I mean, one woman picked up. You don't know
what all that is.
Yeah, she picked up her live Squidward from the jar, the little tentacles moving around and everything like that. I said, no, thank you.
And who is, let's see here. Who's this little fella?
That is a snow monkey, the back of a baby snow monkey in Hokkaido, Japan. People have possibly, I'm one of these people, Joel will tell you, I watch children and go, oh, doesn't that look like fun? And the reality really was as good as it looked. In Hokkaido, they have this hot pool, volcanic pool, an onsen, they call it. And these monkeys live in this below freezing weather all year round. It's the only place in the world, I think, where the monkeys live in the snow. And that's why they call them snow monkeys. And of course, they throw extra food down for them during the day to encourage them to stick around. But they love the hot pool, and they look just like adults. They just... It's like, oh my God, is this heaven? And I've got to get out and then climb a tree and go back to the cold later on. It's just, they're so cute.
Do that monkey thing they do. I'm going to open up the seat here. If anybody wants to jump into the Blab and say hi to Mom and ask her any questions about really anywhere in the world. Before I planned my last trip to a destination, which I have not revealed, of course, I contacted her to ask questions and advice because she's literally been everywhere. When we say everywhere, people are like, oh, have you been to Antarctica, the continent that nobody goes to? And the answer is?
Yes. But before you open up, I do want to say, if you've got questions about the United States or Canada, I've done very little traveling there. I'm trying to hit the parts that really are arduous and longer before the knees no longer work and before I can no longer sit in an airplane for 14 hours without killing myself and my fellow passengers. So,
yeah. And by the way, it's no, I've already given my age away, and you look so good. I don't think you have a problem with saying how old you are.
Well, outwardly, I look really, really good, but I'm hoping my body, the insides will cooperate with the outside, but I'm going to be 75 in January.
Wow. And a grandmother to 9 grandchildren, if my count is correct.
Your count is correct and will not rise as far as I know.
No, I think
I think that's it.
All done right there. So pretty inspirational. A couple questions coming across the chat. Have you ever been to Israel?
Yes, I have. I have been to Israel, and I enjoyed myself, but I think it was so much more fascinating to hit all the other Mid-Eastern countries around it, because only then does the Bible, and I'm a believer, but I'm not a devout anything. But the Bible really comes to life. I mean, you go to one country and the guy casually says, oh yeah, and this was Moab. And you think, oh, or in Jordan, oh, King Herod, his bearers would have to carry him down from the mountain to bathe his decrepit old body in the springs. And I thought to myself, oh my God, those poor guys. That's, when you really come across the immensity of the world, it sounds trite.
It's the cradle of civilization. And so when, in America, we go back, a few hundred years with our buildings and some of our history. You go overseas to, Europe, and now you're going back 500, 1,000 or more. You go to the, Middle East, and now you're BC, right? You're dealing with places that historically, as far back as we know. Gilbertism says you're way too young to be my mother.
I am.
Well, the fact of the matter is
dropped them.
You were 21
I was 21 when I had Michael, 23 when I had you. Those were the days when women were expected to graduate high school, get married, have children, not go anywhere, be the little woman, stay at home, and live happily ever after.
Yeah, well, you had everything except the happily ever after.
But happily ever afters can then take place happily ever after.
You had a happily ever after. After
the happily ever after.
Which is great. And of course, we're happy for that. Another question came in was, have you visited Chile?
I have visited Chile. Yes, as a matter of fact, before I was there several times. One time, which Sonny will never forgive me, and I believe it was 1985 when the Bears won the Super Bowl. That was the year that I planned the trip to Chile.
That would have been 86, wasn't it? 86 was when the Bears won.
86. And remember, there was no internet. I don't think there was CNN. And the man ran all around South America going, oh my God, trying to call people back home to find out what's happening. And everybody was at a Super Bowl party. Right. But love Chile. Chile is great. We've been all the way up to the north, which is the Atacama Desert. Great place. All the way down into, I think it was in the early 80s, a tiny cruise ship into the Chilean fjords where only two other people spoke English. And I've got a fast, funny story about that one. Of course, everything was in Spanish, and once we get past adios, gracias, and de nada, and muchos gracias, that's it. And Steve and I were taking a shower in the cabin, and all of a sudden, all the bells went off on the ship. And I thought, oh my God, Titanic. So we threw on clothes. I was shaking like a leaf, and I could have been a commercial because I go, the passports and an American Express card. Duh. go running up on deck. Everybody is sitting on lounge chairs, eating raw oysters and drinking wine. Well, they had made an announcement in Spanish that it was a drill. Well,
But you didn't know what was happening.
of course not. I didn't understand. They didn't say nada or comida, or taco or anything.
So Evan wants to know, what was your least favorite destination and why? Like, where wouldn't you go back to?
Where would I go back to? I would go back to almost everywhere. There are not enough lifetimes because there's always something wonderful or memorable wherever you go. There, something that stands out, and then there's always a miserable occasion that always turns out to be a very funny story. So I can't say I would go back everywhere.
So let's talk about funny stories. You just had one happen on the plane in business class, going to or coming back from Korea.
Going to Korea, we were flying to Narita, and we were in 747 upper deck, which is my favorite happy place in the world. It makes me feel like I'm flying on a private jet somewhere because there's so few people. And for a change, we had forward-facing seats, and then there's this big barricade, and then right in front of me are these rear-facing seats. And also this man looks around and he goes, "Sheila? Are you Sheila from YouTube?" And this was my face. I couldn't even spit out my name that, yes, I'm Sheila. And it wasn't like my target, it's not my target audience, but the great majority of people who watch my YouTube videos are between 35 and 44 males. Well, this man is a professor, a pharmacology professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago. He says, "Oh," and like this, and he's shouting, "Oh, I watch your videos. I look to see the airports, what airplanes you're on. Oh, you do wonderful videos." And the flight attendants came down the aisle, and another man jumped up from. I was just flabbergasted that out of the billions of people, it's the hair. I'm convinced it's the hair. That's it.
You're a celebrity, so I'm pulling up here on the screen. This is Mom's site, travelswithsheila.com, and you've been blogging for how long now?
I think it's over 9 years, thanks to a certain person named Joel Comm.
Yeah, well, I encourage you to share your content, and you do it religiously now. You have an article that goes up every day, and it was probably about 5 years ago that you said, "Should I be shooting videos?" And I said, "Yeah, bring a camera with you. Why not?" And now your YouTube channel has, let's see what we got here. You have how many videos? Like 2,000 or so?
Over 2,000 videos, 8.5 million views, and a couple thousand subscribers.
This camel and horse dancing at the yearly, Nagur Cattle Fair in India. This video has had 879,000 views. Look at this, gang. She's produced all this. She learned how to use Apple's movie program, and she does these videos and she narrates them, and very impressive. I mean, you have more views to your videos than your internet marketing son has.
Well, that one particular video, it was, these people have their horses and their camels. They taught them how to dance. And there's this big argument between the viewers over animal cruelty, yada, 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 and all that. I try not to get involved with it, but animals are very expensive in India, and they practically worship their horses and camels. It's a huge expenditure of their money. We're talking about a very rural area. And for me, the thought that they are abusing them, I just don't buy it. I mean, viewers go, "Oh, well, the horse is foaming, or his eyes are wide open," or something like that. I watch them walking around the grounds. They take such good care of those camels and horses. I wish somebody took that good care of me.
Right. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you? I don't really have a question. I just wanted to meet your mom. She's
Well, say
sweet.
hi to mom.
Hi, Mike.
But I have this on. You know what this is, right?
You got your Do Good Stuff shirt on.
Yeah.
I was going to wear my Do Good Stuff T-shirt, and then I read an article, and it said, never wear black on TV. So, so much for that.
Well,
I just wanted to come on. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the new TV. The internet is the new television. But you know what? You look fab. And Mike, you look good in your Do Good Stuff shirt.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I just wanted to say hi and say hi to you too, Joel. And thank you for all the stuff that you put out as well. And I'll be sure to check out your mom's site as well too. Looks really cool.
Yeah.
Let's just
especially if you're going to go somewhere, like just search for the destination, because unlike a lot of the paid travel sites, this is no fluff. She just shares the experience when she's there and tells you what's good and what's not. And I think that she should have her own show, frankly.
Yeah, well, talk her into it. She'll do it.
Well,
Blabbing with Sheila. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Somebody else was grabbing a seat and then it disappeared, and I didn't see who it was. So it was Rich. Okay, Rich, come on in here and say hi to Mom.
Can you hear me, Joel?
She'll be pleased to meet you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, you can't hear me. Okay. Just want to say hi. I can remember Joe interviewing you on the original Joe Comm show years back when I first got on the internet.
When I told my famous toilet story, which Joel
yeah. It was good to meet you again. Some of the places you've talked about, South Korea, I was there for a year, many moons back when I was in the service, and I've been to Japan, but we only made it up to about a third of the way up to Mount Fuji because of traffic. Traffic over there is horrendous. All roads lead to Tokyo.
Well, everyone that we saw that was a Westerner there was with the armed forces because of the presence there. So thank you for serving.
Oh, thank you. The people that are serving right now, they've got a lot more on their plate and stuff. Those are the people that we really need to be in our hearts and minds and thankful for and whatnot. But it's very nice meeting you. Joel, great to have you back, sir. I've been looking forward to this interview here with Joel and Joel's mom all day. I've been playing around with my Chromecast to keep me busy and stuff like that with the Blab, and this is just great as far as Blab. So nice to meet you. And
Rich,
I'm thrilled, Joel, that he remembers my toilet story.
I know, that's so funny. I just did a search. I actually found. I'm going to paste the link into the chat here. But it was August 2010 that I blogged about it. So the interview must have, and it's embedded in there. This was when I did the live Ustream. I'm
driving there now.
From my office studio. Yeah. And we did
the office studio.
A couple years we did a live stream. And so that was 5 years ago was the last time. So when you're getting ready to turn 80, Mom, we'll do another one.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
So when those went off, I'm sorry. I just want to say when those went off the air, Joel, I was so sad. I'm like, God, he's got to bring those back. That was such outstanding content, and now we have Blab, and you're bringing it back to us all. So I greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to take a seat back in the audience here. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you. So, Mom, do you see, the hands in the lower right corner with my face going up and your numbers going up? Those are called props. And it's just a way for people that are watching to appreciate the people that are talking. It's just a number that these are people that they're kind of saying, yay, they're applauding you as you're on the show. So they love you more than they love me, as they should. Here's a question from Pop Culture 27. How do you afford to travel all over the world? It's expensive just for me to travel from Boston to LA, including hotel and airfare. Talk about that.
I have gotten tons of comments on my YouTube channel. People go, how can you afford to go here? How can you afford to go there? First of all, I'd like to say that it started out when TWA was still around. They had the best frequent flyer program in the world. In those days, you could buy the cheapest ticket, and with a certain amount of miles, you got your second ticket free. So that's how we started. I'd like to say I worked full-time all my life and so did my husband, until, for me, I retired from my full-time position when I was 62, and then continued working temporary for different companies until I was at least 67, 68. There is always a way to travel if you want to badly enough. I looked online. I just found Sonny and I are going on a cruise, a Dubai cruise. Now, it's not that unusual a destination anymore, but Royal Caribbean has a 1-week Dubai cruise. It's $1,700 for 2 people for 1 week. I looked on the internet. You can get to Dubai for $800 a person. Many times it's cost me $400, like you said, to get to Denver. And here you can get somewhere else in the world, thousands and thousands of miles away, for less money. I go on a kayak. At this stage in my life, it's important to me. None of us knows how many years we have left. If you can, don't wait until you retire. If you go away once a year, once every 2 years, get online. When I took Joel and his brother, when we used to go to the Caribbean islands, we went off season. We never stayed at a big hotel. We stayed at some junky place.
You'd pull us out of school too, right? I mean,
I pulled them out of school many times. I figured they will manage to survive without 2 weeks of school, unlike other people who feel, oh, God forbid, I should miss a day of work. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Save your money, and believe me, there are jobs in the travel profession. I meet people. I just wish that I had been in that day and age where I could have taken the backpack and gone to Europe for a year. So just do it. You can do it.
Well, and if people go to your site, the tagline on there is best travel advice to save money and have fun on any budget. So what you do is you actually demonstrate this is how we do it. You know what would be really interesting that you don't do on your blog that I think people back me up, folks, if you think this would be interesting, is to actually break down the budget and list this trip cost, airfare, hotel, transportation, taxis, whatever, to actually show people this is because, like, I know people in the internet marketing space that they have a blog and they show people month by month how the blog makes money. So they'll write, this is how much we get from Google ads. This is how much we get from paid links. This is how much we get from our podcast sponsors. Yeah. So people are saying, yes, great idea. That would be helpful. That could be helpful. That would be awesome. That might be something for you to consider.
I'm not sure about that, because there are a couple trips, for instance, like we recently, I have to update my map. We took this once in a lifetime cruise up the west coast of Greenland into the high Canadian Arctic that people could buy probably a small car, for the prices.
Yeah, but that's okay too, because that's real. You can say that we knew going out right that this was going to be an expensive trip, and this is what we were willing to pay for it. Now, if it's just privacy and you just don't want to share that, that's understandable. Yeah. But maybe just for the trips where you're really going on a budget, to post the data on that. Say this: we deliberately sought to go on this trip on the least expensive way we can, and here's the proof that you can do it too.
Right. Well, it's a thought. What I do in my website is because I got sick and tired of going to travel websites or looking for information on places. We were on a cruise last year, and it stopped at this place in Vietnam, and I found a YouTube video that mentioned this place, Van Tau or something like that. So I clicked on it, and what the person did is he stood in the center of the street and he videoed motorcycles coming toward him for 3 minutes. That was the video. Things like that, it gives me no information. So in my articles and even in my videos, I will say, oh my God, you can eat here for $1, or you can go to Europe. We walked along the Rhine. There are trains, there are buses, there are steamers that go up and down the Rhine all day long, and they make stops. You can stay at such nice little 3-star, 2-star, 3-star hotels in Germany, including humongous buffet breakfasts that run between $85 to maybe $110 a night. You can't go to a Motel 6 or 8 for less than $65 a night back here in the United States. Europe is not that expensive. I'm sick and tired of reading travel leisure. Oh, go to the Four Seasons, $9,000 a person a day or something like that. That's not true. That's why people believe there are all these trips, and people believe everybody is rich. We're not rich. You can do it.
Well, it's a good time to go to Europe too, because the euro is, our dollar is much stronger against the euro than it used to be. It's like $1.15, I think.
No, it's 11. It's 111, which is a lot better. Yeah. When I think a year or two ago we were there, it was 1.65 or 1.50. Yeah. In other words, if a meal costs 15 euros, you had to add another 50% on it. That was a killer. It really was. So
now I know it's afternoon.
Hotels.
I know some of you are at work and you can't jump on, but I would love to see some of your faces, especially Mark Jones and Kimberly Spear, two of my friends that are on here. Would love for you to come on and for me to see your smiling mug, because you have not yet jumped on a Blab with me, and I'd like you to say hi to my mom. So no excuses. And if anybody else wants to jump in and ask a question, then the seat is open right there, because if you want advice from the one person who has been there and done that, it's her. She's been everywhere. Where are you off to next? Because you're getting ready to go again.
We're going to Japan. We are going to, as long as my knees are still functioning, I do like to hike. So there is a trail called the Kimono Kodo Pilgrimage Trail. It's south of Kyoto, in that area of Japan. So we are going to attempt for the first time to get around Japan on my own without Sonny, my husband, and I standing on a corner screaming at each other, who got who lost, and I thought you told me that you knew the way. Those kinds of good things, which we do. As a matter of fact, I took Joel, his brother, and my 3 stepdaughters, along with my husband. We went to Europe.
Long time ago. I was 13.
He was 13. What do you remember of Europe?
I remember a lot. I remember we were gone for a month. We trained across Europe. We flew into Luxembourg. We went through Brussels, Belgium. On the way to Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. And I remember Sonny asking a lady of the evening in the red light district to use her bathroom. We spent a few days in Amsterdam, and then we went to Paris. Yeah. And saw, all the typical touristy sites in Paris. And then we trained down to the coast, down to Nice, where I experienced my first topless beach as a young man. Yeah. And then we went to Italy, and we hit Rome, Florence, and Venice before flying home. Have I got it right?
You've got it right. Do you remember a favorite part? Did you have a favorite part?
I think I just kind of went with the flow and enjoyed it all. Obviously, I remember it all. I mean, I could tell you, I remember, going to Anne Frank's house in Amsterdam, and peeking my head up into the attic. It was kind of closed off by plexiglass, and seeing where they hid away in the bookcase that was the hidden passage. Just amazing. And I remember in France, the hotel we were staying at in Paris, one night there was a little bit of a ruckus. And there was some sort of student protest or something on the streets that was taking place. I remember Venice and St. Mark's Square and all the pigeons. And I remember a little bit about being in Rome, but not nearly as much as I'd like. I'd like to go back and see the Colosseum and the Forum and the Vatican. Lori wants to know, have you been to Copenhagen?
We were just there before the Greenland cruise, because what it was is, to get to Greenland, it's not an easy thing. And the cruise was going to leave from West Greenland, and the tour operator, which was Quark Expeditions, had arranged a charter SAS flight from Copenhagen. Loved Copenhagen. What a great city. Everybody's got a bike. Nobody wears bike helmets. And I very rarely saw anybody lock up a bicycle. I wonder, what the theft rate is there, but we were very lucky. We had beautiful weather. It was very expensive there. And when you ask about economizing, there was this two gigantic buildings that were a food hall about 3 blocks from the hotel that we stayed. We stayed at a smaller boutique hotel, not a Marriott. It was not inexpensive, because there's no such thing as inexpensive in Copenhagen. But food prices were so high that every day we would go into the food mall, and one day we bought banh mai, Vietnamese sandwiches for dinner. Another day we bought something else for dinner. So every day we made our way into these fabulous food halls and would pick up all kinds of yummy food and bring it back to the room and eat it.
Oh, look who is joining us. It is my dear friend, Kimberly Spear. I hope you can get on, Kimberly. I don't know if you've actually done a Blab before, but if you're on Chrome, you have to make sure you tell the camera to allow it to use your camera and microphone. So, I think she's going to make it and Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. I am at the beach today, so I don't know how good my connection's going to stay.
Oh, you're good. Say hi to my mom.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hi, Kimberly. I'm fine. How about you?
I am great. I am great.
Kimberly, you didn't meet Mom at one of the events that she and I were at, did you?
I don't think I did. I don't think I have, Mom.
Well, I'm glad you. Yes. So, do you have any questions, or did you just come on because I said you should?
Both.
Okay.
Talk about traveling in Asia. How do you like traveling in Asia?
I love it. This was our first trip to Korea that we just came back from, and I put it off for years and years because I was really worried if they speak English, how we're going to get around or anything like that. Everywhere we went, there was a sign in English plus Korean. Their subway system is unbelievable. There's a great big button that says English. You press it, goes, "Hello, you have reached the English portion of the subway. Please enter your destination." Then it went A to C, D to E. And I had a subway map. I would poke in where we were going. Then it says, the next screen comes up. Please enter the amount of people. Press 2. It says, you owe 3,700 won, which is less than $3.70. Stick in your money. Tickets pop out of one little window. Change comes out of another little window. You head toward the stiles just like a normal station. You pop your little ticket on top, lets you through. When you get off, all the subways have stops in English and Korean, and they announce it, and you see it. Get off the station, go back up, put your little ticket back on the on your turnstile again, walk through. There's a machine that says return, because you get 50 cents back on every ticket. All you do is you stick your little ticket in, your 50 won comes popping back out, and you're good. I mean, it was amazing. I do say when we go to remote areas in Asia, we're going to try Japan on our own this time. We can do it because they take one look at you and they go, "Oh, dumb, stupid American, we go help her." And they do. A janitor came running over one day. He took one look at the space and comes running over, left his garbage can, honest to God, left the garbage can in the room. And I pointed on the map and he grabs my arm and he drags me down to the correct stop. And, they're just so obliging there. But if we're going to remote areas, which I love to do, we have a guide because there is no way. They people don't speak any English. Most of them have never seen a Westerner unless it's been on television, and they all want to take photos with you and touch you and talk to you. And
you're an international celebrity.
Yes.
Well, Laura, how are you?
Good.
I'm gonna check
Thank you for having me here. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Joel. Kimberly, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, you got a grandbaby there with you.
Wait for me down there.
That's Landon at the beach with me. Have a great day. Thanks.
Awesome. See you.
Go
honey.
build a sandcastle.
I will.
Okay.
Bye, Kimberly.
Oh, wow. So, Joel, it's finally nice to see you back, and this is awesome. I'm sorry I missed the first half of your show here. And Joel, look at you. You've been hiding a secret there. Your mother is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I did put on, this is not my everyday apparel. Usually I sit at the computer with my glasses on, my hair standing on edge, and my sweatpants. Okay. Today it's a sweater.
We all do.
My sweatpants.
Exactly. Yeah, we all can relate to that. Yes. Oh, wow. So, let's see. I would love to know, if no one asked, have you gone to see the Taj Mahal?
Yes, I have, and I found it disappointing. As I said, I always tell the truth when I travel. People don't always like that, but I looked at it and went, oh, okay, this is the Taj Mahal. I've seen many
Really?
that are a lot more interesting than
Uh-huh.
Taj Mahal.
What was disappointing? What was it? Smaller? Was it the scope?
No,
was
there
it
was
the
just this
beauty?
big building out of 90 million big buildings that everybody sees when they travel. There are other places that don't disappoint. For instance, the pyramids. Everybody sees pictures of the Egyptian pyramids, but until you stand next to the pyramid and see, I'm 5'3", and see that every one of those blocks is bigger than I am, and you look up and you think how 5,000 years ago people were doing things like that, that was beyond what I expected. The Taj Mahal was just this great big round building with beautiful inlay and everything, and it did nothing. Yeah, I felt nothing.
Right.
Don't sing, Mom. No singing.
I felt nothing. He always says that. That's such a thing. He goes, Mom,
I like
don't
that.
sing.
Sing all you
that's
want.
awesome.
We don't care.
Is there
Yes.
anything else I can answer for you?
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. What is a place that you haven't been that you really want to go and you just can't seem to find the time to get to it?
It's Madagascar. Ever since, you gotta move it. You gotta move it.
I like to move it.
With the great big eyes, I
love it.
I want to see those cute little guys in person. And every time I think of flying from Chicago probably to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt, every year I look into it, and Frankfurt to Johannesburg. Then it's another 4 hours from Johannesburg to I think it's Antananarivo or something is the capital of Madagascar. Such a long trip, and it's so expensive because the thought of, I can't afford. Yeah, there they are. There, gotta move it. Where's the?
I love your energy. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I also want to ask you. I get into the state where I just start asking questions and keep going.
Oh, good. Keep going.
So what? Let me see. Do you travel alone? Or do you like to switch it up and travel with friends?
No, I travel with my poor God-loving husband who one time, we were in Pakistan in 95, before all the real trouble started. It was a disastrous trip. We went hiking in the Hunza Mountains and all that kind of stuff. And I'll give you just 2 examples. We were all crazy Americans. I mean, usually Americans do not travel to these places. But as I said, I'm one of those glass half full people, and I look at something and go, oh, this sounds really neat. And then my husband goes, did you read you have to sleep in hammocks for 2 weeks? And then I go, oh yeah, maybe I don't want to go there. Or, oh, they said that be careful climbing out of a tent because there are poisonous snakes. It's like, all right, oh, let's forget this one. But we went to Pakistan, and one night we're in the tent, and all of a sudden my husband starts laughing hilariously. He said, I was in the Marines. I vowed when I was going to get out, I was never in my life going to stand in a grub line. I was never going to sleep in another tent. How did you get me to do this? We were laughing so hard we were crying because, come on. As I said, they're good stories in hindsight, but, you spend your days squatting behind a bush or something like that, or with some luck you develop constipation for 2 weeks until you get home. We're going to get into the potty humor now, Joe. I know, Joe.
Whatever. Listen, you're talking to the guy who made the eye fart, so I can handle that.
That's right.
Regarding your videos,
people are always talking about how people shouldn't travel because they get traveler's diarrhea, and I bet you anything 90% of the travelers have just the opposite. You get traveler's constipation from everything else. But so over the years, he's gotten to the point where I do have him read the itineraries, which he then immediately forgets about. And, and he'll go, okay, fine. As long as he's not sleeping in a hammock and there's not going to be poisonous snakes out there, he's willing to go he's willing to go everywhere with me, which is fortunate because unfortunately, everyone I know, including my own son sitting there, if he has a choice, would like to go to a hotel, right, Joe? Not camp, okay? Not wear his little feet to nubs every single day. Some is okay, and be more comfortable. Even all of my grandchildren, we traveled on that Pakistan trip. This divorced man thought it would be really neat to bring his 2 teenage sons with on that trip. The chef made 1 chicken for like 13, 14 people one night. So you can imagine what the food rations were like. And every day these little boys got thinner and thinner and thinner. And, probably said, fervent prayers and oh dear God, please, please, please get me out of here. And this man who was also married a second time, said he and his wife would give a Christmas present to their combined children every year, selecting one of them to go on a trip with them. And every year the kids would all pray, please don't let it be me, don't let it be me. Because they did a trip, for example, in San Francisco where those old pumping wagons that they used on the railroads, you pump up and down. One person pumps and the other rides a horse. Then they change positions. Mm-hmm. So there are crazier people than we are.
She has stories for days, Laura. She can go on and on and on. Make sure, Mom, so on Facebook, are you publishing publicly now your content, or is it just still for family only?
I am, and I'm working with a webmaster to redo my site where more things can be automated and go out to LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook on a daily basis, which would be great because it really takes up all my time. There were times I never traveled with the camera, and for sure I never used a camcorder, and it was a big pain in the butt.
Well, it's funny. There was a question, do you have a cameraman and editor, or is it just you? And of course I know the answer to that.
It is. I mean, to edit, I came back with, even though I try not to, I love food. There's so much. I video what's of interest to me. The best thing I think Joel ever told me is it's your site. Do what you want with it. I mean, I'm not a lonely planet. I don't have, I can't send 6 people out to go take a look at hotels in one town and say, and eat at 50 different restaurants. So I just video what I what I like, what I do, what interests me. And I say, oh my God, in Korea, we went to this grotto that was once open with all these carved Buddhas and figures that were thousands of years old. Well, it's deteriorating. So they enclosed it and put glass around it, and you can't see it all. So in my video, which I have not uploaded for that, I say, don't bother. People won't believe me because people will see pictures of the way it was like I had seen, not knowing that, oh, it looks like hell now.
And I love that you mentioned cameras, and because you enjoy the moment differently than when you're taking pictures and trying to post stuff than actually enjoying the moment. And I love your view on, so many different people, travel to other places, but I love your energy and your view on it, and how open you are to all the possibilities out there.
Thank you. There is so much. I mean, when we took the trip to Greenland, they served whale blubber and seal blubber. And I took one look and I thought, ew. But then, you have to sort of step back and think to yourself, well, I eat sushi, so why is whale blubber any different? There was really no taste to it. I tried a deep fried tarantula. That's very
Oh, no way. Oh,
yeah,
my goodness. What did it taste like?
If you've ever tried soft shell crab, it's my only comment about it is it's greasy. Yeah, because So some things I will. Other things, there is nothing like an Asian hotel buffet because they have 9 million different items that you will never try, and some I never intend to. For instance, one label said it was boiled fish guts. I don't care what it tastes like. I was not trying boiled fish guts.
Well, those of you that are just joining us, welcome to Joel Comm Show. The guest over there, yes, she's got a different last name than me, but for those of you who don't know, this is my mom. This is Sheila. She is responsible for me being here, along with the contribution that my father made to make it possible. And I want you to say hi to my friend Brian Fanzo. Brian, say hi to Mom.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Mom. I just got off a webinar. I posted in there that I supported Joel's disconnection and unplugging, kind of. I was but I missed Joel on here, and the first blab I get to come on with Joel is with his mom. We can send Joel back away. I've only been in for a couple of minutes, but I can tell where he gets the fun and energy from. So, hi.
Hi. Do you have any questions?
Those who don't know, Mom runs a travel blog at travelswithsheila.com. She's been doing it for 9 years, and she makes videos. Her videos on YouTube, on her channel, she's got over 2,200 videos that have had over 8 million views. She does them all herself. She uses iMovie to edit everything she films.
No, not iMovie. Unfortunately, I have to use Final Cut Pro X.
Final Cut, and she edits it, she narrates it, and puts up the titles and does it all herself. So anything you want to know about going anywhere in the world, literally anywhere, for those who missed it, let me show you this map again. I actually pulled this from her blog. This is her Google map of places she's been.
I have to update it.
Oh my goodness!
I have to update it. It doesn't have Greenland. That's there.
Awesome.
Wow. So I always brag, because I worked for the Department of Defense and I traveled a lot, that I had been to 49 countries. That now is something I no longer need to brag about. You've trumped me without any question. Holy moly.
Well,
how many?
At least 150. But I don't travel for that reason. I'm not one of those where they've got that group where, you have to hit all the countries and where they take cruises just so it stops at every little port and things like that. I go to the places that I really want to go to, and many places we go back more than once. We've been to India well over 12 times. We're going again in January. I know most people have this slumdog millionaire perception of it. You're better off with a great exotic Marigold Hotel perception of it, because it is one of the all-time great countries of the world. Now, it is one that I don't recommend women to travel alone. That, you know, you're really better off with a man. And people go, well, aren't you afraid of poverty and all that? What, Chicago, we don't have street people? You know, we don't have poverty. We don't have food banks or anything like that. And people go, ew, they smell and curry. We go into these small towns. People try so hard to keep themselves clean.
Bye. It was so
Goodbye.
nice
It was nice talking. If you've got
Bye.
any questions, I am happy to I answer every single comment on YouTube. I do answer all my questions. Sometimes he's really obnoxious and I ban them from the channel. I do answer questions. I'll answer
Excellent
my
use
YouTube.
of social media. Yeah, Mom.
If you've got questions, I'll be glad to answer. Go ahead.
I'm curious. So you were talking about India, and so with me, you know, I unfortunately most of my travel was not me deciding where to travel. As I work for the Department of Defense, so I worked where our U.S. military bases were, and kind of in that space. And most people ask me the question. I'm sure you get it all the time. What's the favorite place that you go to? And most people are surprised when I answer 3 of my top 5 are actually in the Middle East. And so, like you said about India, there's a kind of a misconception. I've been to Kuwait over a dozen times, Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, a lot in that space. And I absolutely love the culture I learned the first time to Kuwait. I remember going back home and going and crying because of the fact that I felt like I had made so many judgments in my high school years against maybe a religion or a way of thinking. And it completely blew my mind in Kuwait. But I'm curious because I'm working now doing a lot of live streaming side. And I can tell you one of the easy use cases has been the travel industry for a lot of these either travel companies or specific landmarks and locations that have reached out to myself or some of the other influencers that have really focused on the travel side and said, hey, would you come here and provide your thoughts, insights, your views of this experience, this travel? And Dubai is the one that comes to mind the most. Dubai actually brought 6 influencers on live streaming out, and they gave them a day each in a different experience. They had skydiving, all these different things, and they just live streamed their conversation on it. So I was curious from the video blog perspective, what's the most value you've ever kind of found? Like, what's one of the coolest things whenever you're explaining what you've done in your travels that people are kind of jaw dropping? And have you thought about the live streaming aspect?
No, I haven't. I keep waiting for Joel to call me and go. Joel goes, Mom, you really have to do this. And I think to myself, oh my God, now when am I going to do this? But when you mentioned Dubai, we're going there in December. If you have somebody who would love to show me around or do things, because we're going there before a 1-week cruise, and then we're going to be back there for a couple more days. And I arranged, once again, I used Maximize free miles on one of United Airlines partners. You know, that's when you use them to get down there. So I will be in Dubai.
I will connect you. So the senior VP of Dubai Tourism is who I was on a phone call with him last week, and he will absolutely love that. He is amazing and nice. He's been working with a bunch of conversations. I'm trying to get what the value was. I mean, he said that it was his best campaign of 300 campaigns that he ran when he brought these influencers out there, but super nice guy. I'm going to make a note right now. I will connect you too, because he'll be blown away with your expertise. He's bringing these people out that, let's be honest, we're all still enjoying 15 minutes of fame of live streaming. It's only been out since February. So someone with your knowledge and view of the world, and you can provide your insights. I'm making a note right now because I'm going to make sure to connect you too. For sure.
Social media wins.
Excuse me, Joel, I just want to go back as far as that Islamophobic aspect that people have around the world, that maybe there are 300 terrorists out of umpteen billion people hiding. I mean, most people in the Muslim culture are so warm. They are so welcoming. They are so willing to embrace you, to take you around, so non-judgmental and interested in you. And it makes me ill whenever somebody says to me, oh, you're going to another Islamic country. Haven't you read there's terrorism? It's like,
yeah, my reply back usually is, I'm welcomed with much bigger arms and feel safer in a lot of these Middle Eastern countries than Paris and Japan, where I felt like I was the outsider, that damn American. And Paris is one of my funny ones. I love the architecture and the way everything goes, but man, did I not like the way that I was treated. So I always put that in caveat because people put Paris on a pedestal and then they say, you like Bahrain and Kuwait? And I'm like, I can navigate Kuwait without a map, a GPS, or a cell phone. And if I got lost or I didn't find where I was going, I felt confident that I could relate and people would always help me. So I love that you share the same, because to me, educating my world is one of my first blog posts I ever wrote, because my flight back, my mind was blown on maybe my sheltered life. And thankfully, I've been back to the Middle East almost 3 times since. And I've enjoyed even Saudi Arabia, as wild as that was. And I didn't have a ton of area. And I was in Iraq and Afghanistan as well, 5 times between the two of them. Warzone's different. I don't recommend Warzone. Also women making little adjustments. But yeah, I love hearing that. So that's awesome. It is a pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan of your son. He's an awesome guy. We need more awesome guys like your son. So kudos to you, my friend. And I'll jump off. I'll let someone else have the seat. But
let's make sure,
Joel comes
Brian, will you connect with him on Facebook?
Yep, I will connect with you. Yeah, let's connect, because I will connect you with Dubai.
I haven't made any arrangements yet.
I will get you connected.
Oh, great. Goodbye.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Jenny Q, how are you?
Hi, Joel. How are you? I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad
Great.
you're back.
Me too.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Sheila. So here's the deal. So I was actually just about to hop off of Blab to go do work. Imagine that. And I saw Joel was on. So I jumped on. I'm all like thinking all these warm, thoughts about Joel because he's so amazing. And then he said, for those of you who have just joined, I think it was like, for those of you who have just joined, I think it was more like that. This is my mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to hop on and say, oh my gosh, what an amazing son you have.
Thank you. I think he's pretty. Even though I'm the one, he always tells the story, who when he wanted his first computer says, oh yeah, you're just going to play games on it. What are you going to do? And then when he tried to tell me for years and years, Mom, you've got to get on the internet. And I go, oh, yeah, what's it going to do for me? Yeah.
No. And so, but then as it went on and he was talking about all of your other accomplishments besides raising a wonderful son, then I was thinking, who does your booking? Because I would love to have you on my show on Blab.
I would love to do it.
No pressure.
I do my booking. I do my videos. I do my camera. Okay. I do my editing. I do my writing. I talk to Joel, then Joel tells me what else I have to do if I really want to make a success. Mom, you should do this. I go, well, I don't know how. He goes, oh, you're a smart woman. You can figure it out.
And she does.
Sometimes.
She does. Usually, I mean, I give a little help, but I figure you're able to manage it, and when push comes to shove, I help. But she does a great job. So, Jenny, connect with her on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever, and have a great conversation. Thanks for joining us.
Great show. Awesome. Thanks for letting me jump on, Joel.
You bet. We'll catch you soon. And with that, I think. This has been great, Mom. Thank you for joining me today. I think you have inspired people, and you answered a bunch of great questions. And who knows, this whole Dubai hookup with Brian and his people over there could be something really exciting.
That would be fantastic. And just remember, in my articles, I do have lists of only travel operators that I've used that may be able to help you. And some of the people are UK tour operators are 50% less than American tour operators. We've taken many, many trips with them. So don't be afraid and just go and do whatever you can. Just like they say, just do it.
I cannot imagine a better way to end it up, ladies and gentlemen. My mother, Sheila Simkin. I'm very proud of you, Mom. People, of course, can follow you on your blog at travelswithsheila.com. They can subscribe. You send a daily email with a fascinating new article. They can follow you on your YouTube channel where you've got over 2,200 videos with over 8 million views. You put me to shame. I'm amazed. And I got to go somewhere with you now. I'm feeling like it's maybe 2016 year that we go on an adventure together.
I promise, no more tents.
No tents. No tents. Boy, I want a nice, comfy hotel room. So love you, Mom. Thanks for joining. And thanks to all of you for being here on the Joel Comm Show. Of course, you can catch all past episodes here at blab.im/Joel Comm. The podcast, the Joel Comm Show, is in the iTunes App Store. And I actually do have an app out there. If you look in the App Store for Joel Comm, you'll find one where you can take me on the go with you. So on behalf of myself and my mother, thanks for joining us. And we will catch you on the next Blab. See ya.